which is like a beautiful mesh of just rock music that you'd hear on like any normal secular rock radio show, with lyrics about Jesus. I've seen it be like the most powerful tool in church to bring people closer to the Lord and have it be a place of encounter.
Step through the space in between us.
That's like for a gig, like so you're just like, do it, and then you just like, and then you just go. And that's very much my experience.
Throw in a bunch of like O's and people will absolutely go nuts as singing it live. So
I found an intimacy. And amongst the pieces of me. Are we ready?
Hey, what's going on? Welcome in. My name's Chris Dolby and I host the UCB1 Rockshow. Today I've got the full interview that I recently conducted with the Christian singer-songwriter and worship leader Kate Flanders. Kate's from Guildford in the UK and I've been playing her music on the Rockshow since day one. She's an incredibly talented lyricist and multi-instrumentalist, and I wanted to know more about her story and how she came to be writing Christian music.
I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up in a very quiet little, I guess, suburban town in Surrey in England. And I developed a passion, I guess, for rock music at quite a young age. I started playing in bands at school when I was about 13. I started learning guitar at 11, decided that electric guitar was way cooler. And so started playing in bands in like age 13, 14. Big, like, kind of Green Day fan. I love Blink-182. I'm all about kind of the Christian side would be love Switchfoot. Like when I was a bit older, started getting into like Gable Price and Friends and kind of like indie Christian rock bands. Big passion for rock music, and I guess kind of colliding it with when I worked for a church, I was a worship intern and kind of bringing in all of my influences to leading people and being on team. And I found that channeling it in my own songwriting was just a super joyful experience. Drawing on all my favourite influences as a kid that you don't necessarily hear in church or would be classed as like worship music, or it doesn't sound like XYZ, or hasn't been like released through Bethel or Hillsong or like any of the kind of worship giants. I'm super passionate about people experiencing Jesus through like genres that they have really resonated with growing up. And so I've been doing that since I was about 14, 15, I've been writing my own music. Wrote my first song when I was like 11, put it down for a bit. And now I've been releasing music since 2020 and have been, I guess, peddling that as much as I can and trying to I guess inspire people, bring them a bit closer to Jesus through guitars and loud drums.
That's fantastic. Did you you said that you was an intern, a worship intern at church? Is it one of these like modern churches with like the stage then and like the big sound system? Is that how you guys rolled?
I guess you could say that. We're Emmaus Road in Guildford, and we meet in a theatre in the morning, but we actually meet in a really small hall in the evening, so it's very different vibes. I've kind of led worship in big, I guess, 500-person theatres, but also tiny, like rooms full of 50 people, and I think both is absolutely wonderful. So I've had all sorts of experiences of playing very loudly but also very quietly.
It's so funny. I mean, for me personally, I mean, you obviously said you came to the you've like grew up in a Christian family, and I came to the faith like really late in life. I'm in my mid-40s now, and I was in my mid-30s when I actually came to the faith. So my first ever experience of a church was like, whoa, there's a stage. What's going on here? This is like a concert. This is absolutely incredible, and just like that buzz, like on stage, it's really like can be quite amazing. And I was really fortunate to be invited to do like the bass on worship teams for a bit, and that was really good. And I really found it. I guess the biggest challenge I had when I was like in that place was trying to like put the focus on like the Lord and making it all about worship and helping these guys kind of connect with God, rather than I'm at a gig and I'm rocking out here. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how do you ever have that kind of thing going in your head? Do you ever have that kind of conflict, and how do you manage that?
It's a constant tussle, isn't it? And it's always something that nobody will, I don't think, will ever be able to fully master, the line between yourself and doing it for the Lord in worship. I find someone once described it to me in the most amazing picture of, if everybody who ever complimented you about how well you did on like a worship set, or how well you performed even on a stage, there's like giving you a little flower. And at the end of the day, I like bunch them up and I just say like, it's God at the end of the day, just like give it over to the Lord, and like
Mm.
this beautiful offering of all of these things that I've done. And it's hard to do that because, especially when I'm not playing in a church, if I'm playing in a like concert venue in the middle of London, it's super hard to be change the focus of like, is this about me? I don't know what's happening. But it's always a back and forth, but I try my hardest to go, I guess, take all the gifts that he's given me, and acknowledge that they're all his in the first place, that he is so graciously gifted to me to have fun with. So yeah, it's always something that I would strive to be as about him as possible, and try and make that happen in any area, whether that's church or a gigging venue.
Hey, this interview was recorded for the UCB1 Rockshow, the only place on national radio in the UK currently playing Christian rock and heavy metal. If you'd like to listen in, even if you're not inside the UK, the details on how you can do that are in the description and the first pinned comment below. Anyway, next up, I wanted to find out more about Kate's experiences of playing live music inside and outside of a church venue.
So you do play outside the church as well, yeah? So I mean, I've know when I spoke to some of the kind of OGs on the worship team at my church, they would be very much like, "Oh no, we play here. I'm not going to go and play gigs outside. We play in church and we do all this stuff." And it's like, that's great, that's fine. So you actually go out and play in, like, I guess you'd say mainstream or secular kind of venues around London and that kind of area. How's that? What kind of reaction do your music get? Do you play the kind of music that we play on the Rock Show in those places?
I do, yeah, which is like a beautiful mesh of just rock music that you'd hear on like any normal secular rock radio show, with lyrics about Jesus. And it's so interesting because you get all sorts of people picking up on the nuances of what you're talking about, because sometimes it can be such different language to what everybody else is singing about. I've done many open mics where I've sung and been like, I don't think anybody is clocked on any of the words I'm singing at the moment. But I just think of it as, it's just another mission field. It's just another place that's rife for people that want to know the gospel, that want to hear the good news. And I think that music is, I've seen it be like the most powerful tool in church to bring people closer to the Lord and have it be a place of encounter. And I think that that is absolutely possible in secular venues, whether it's got like a church label over the top of it, it's still the same Jesus. And I just love singing about him in environments that you wouldn't necessarily hear it anyway. And it's so much fun. It's often the most interesting conversations come up with people that maybe do or don't know the Lord. But yeah, I love it.
Yeah. When you're on stage in those kind of venues, are you playing with it wouldn't just be a solo show, would it? So I guess you're going to be performing with other artists who maybe, they're not in the faith themselves, so they'll probably be playing different kinds of music with different kinds of messages. My experience of playing live in secular venues has been, how should I put this? I was that guy, like, swearing his head off on stage, and that was me, right? I was that guy, like, making inappropriate gestures at the crowd and the whole lot, the whole 9 yards, and my lyrics all had to change drastically, just drastically, and everything had. But when I'm up in that thing, my biggest challenge in a secular venue is just literally not getting swept along with the crowd, and then just kind of mirroring that. I want to I want to be like, no, I'm a Christian on this stage, and I'm going to be playing this music which is inspired by my faith, and I want to put this out to you, and I want you to kind of follow me. I don't want to kind of follow what you're doing. I don't want to be all like judgy and pointy or anything like that, but I do want to be like, I don't want to get pulled along with that. Do you ever get those kind of temptations where you're on stage? I'm gonna guess probably not, but maybe any interesting stories around that kind of thing?
Oh my gosh. I mean, concert venues are full of people from every walk of life. And I went to music college having done so many events with people who just have such different backgrounds. And as creatives, we have all different ways of like expressing ourselves, I guess. But gosh, yeah, any stories of times that that's happened? It's so easy to like get caught up in making, I guess, the making it about you, the
Yeah,
blurring the line between networking and being out for your own gain, I
yeah,
find is like I'm just me on stage, and I love just going for it, whether it's during worship or whether it's during a gig. But I find that the tussle really comes when it's I guess, yeah, pointing to the Lord instead of pointing to yourself.
yeah,
And
absolutely. Oh, how about this one then? Right. So gigs are like, for me, gigs are just like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, wait. Hurry up,
yeah,
hurry up, wait.
yeah,
Right. That's
yeah,
that's like for a gig, like so you're just like, "Rah, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it,
yeah.
do it, do it," and then you just like and then you just cut, and that's very much my experience. And I can get like really stressed, and I can get like really short tempered. So maybe like do you get any kind of like get anger with like the venues, or if it's like find yourself getting wound up, or are you just like floating above it all? Is that
But the biggest bane in my life is musicians and their inability to be on time for any event ever is is the biggest struggle of gigging in the secular world, and even sometimes church, is honestly just the rush into the venue. I've often forgotten gear or manic trips to a music shop to go and get
yeah,
emergency cables or power supplies to get to the venue, and to be waiting for half an hour until the next band was
yeah,
supposed to be done half an hour ago. And having grace is the challenging part in that
yeah.
moment. But we had that the other night, and it's just you just use the opportunity, chat to your bandmates, sit and rehearse the parts that you inevitably kind of don't know.
Very
But
good. Awesome.
yeah,
Well, I did see on your Instagram that did you play at Big Church Day Out or Big Church Live last year?
I
Did that?
did. Yeah.
You've got to tell me about that, because I saw that and I just thought that must have been just so epic. That must have been amazing. What was that like?
Huge moment for me. I have grew up going to big church, so I first attended big church when I was maybe 12, I want to say, and I'm 21 now, so I've been a few years of big church under my belt. But it was the biggest joy to be asked. We had brilliant friends at CSW who sponsored Tom's stage. It help us get in touch with those people, and we played an acoustic set on Tom's stage. Me and my band, my boys, as I call them, my bassist, guitarist, and drummer came along to help me, and we just had the biggest turnout of support. It was so much fun. We played new stuff, we played really old stuff. I got to enjoy the festival like from a different angle that I've never been at it before, getting to see like
Oh,
the behind the scenes. And I love Big Church, and will never stop enjoying it as a festival, and getting to play it was such a joy. So yes, we had a brilliant time.
did anybody there in the crowd, did they know your tunes? Was they like singing lyrics back? That must have been an absolute like
Do you know what? The beauty of church is that you just get people like again, bringing their friends, bringing their family, bringing their siblings, or people from another church that they know. And I'm quite blessed that my church family are really supportive of my music. And I had my own family there and friends and all that who know the words, which is so wonderful, and enjoy the tunes. So we had a little sing along in that field. And it's just the sweetest thing to hear people loving your music and enjoying what you've written for them. So yeah, it's always surreal, and I just loved it when we did it.
Oh, that's great. What track would you say had the best reaction at Big Church? What do you think? Which one do you think went down the best?
We always have one that we savor for the last song of every set that we ever do, whether it's just me or whether it's with a band. And it's the first song I put out as part of my last EP is called Back to the Garden, which has had a lot of love from UCB, which I'm very grateful for. But Back to the Garden is, I guess, the sing along one that people really, really love belting at concerts, and that little bridge with you throw in a bunch of like O's and people will absolutely go nuts as singing it live. So
Ready? And I found an intimacy. And amongst the pieces of me. Are we ready?
yeah, Back to the Garden is always a favourite to play because people just go crazy, which is wonderful.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. There's like part one and part two, isn't there? And there's a whole. I think I've got like your entire like that whole EP. I think I might have. I think either the guy you might have sent it to me or UCB gave it to me. I'm not really sure. So yeah, no, it's just really great. It's proper earworm that Back to the Garden one. I just really love it. Which is the track that we play that's got it's got a piece of like a vicar or somebody's like preaching at the start and is going. It's like a whole like sermon thing. Which one's that one?
That's Back to the Garden Part 2. That's actually my pastor, Pete Gregg, who I caught a clip of him on Instagram, essentially giving a little like interview at a church talking about, I guess, like the possibility of what would it look like if we kind of absolutely went nuts on mission and we sought revival. We're big revivalists in Mace Road, and I just I loved the clip and took it and asked him if it was all right to have it at the beginning. And it's a little bit kind of like our mission statement before I play a show, and we always have it as the first song that we play, and it's kind of builds up the energy, and it's really exciting to have kind of encouraging words about that are very overtly Jesus in any environment that we're playing. And it's always really nice to like landmark the beginning of the shows that we play with that little clip of him talking.
I think that's lovely, and it works really well on the rock show when I'm trying to mix together other tracks, because anything that's got like an outro, then I can get that over the top, and it makes it look like I really know what I'm doing, and I really don't. It's just amazing because it's just like that kind of extended talky section. It's just brilliant, and it's just like I said, it's just such an earworm. The whole thing is just amazing. So let's like kind of switch gears a little bit. Now I know that I've been talking about that kind of first EP, which I think was like about 4 years ago or something. You've just recently released a new piece of music. Why don't you tell me about that one?
So the last 2 singles that we've released have been gearing up to this new release of this new EP called Heaven Knows the Pain You're In, which comes out on August the 19th. But it's a collection of songs that have been in the works for quite a long time. They're all slightly more, I guess, vulnerable lyric-wise. I kind of pushed the boat out on the instrumentation because they're all actually slightly different songs. They don't like weave together like the last EP did. They're kind of exploring different realms that I haven't necessarily before. There's huge, big rock punky moments, but there's also like a really pared back acoustic song on there. I worked with a brilliant artist called Peju, who is a spoken word artist, on the intro track, who wrote a piece for the EP, which is really exciting. She goes to our church. I've heard her do pieces before and I was really wowed. So I asked her to help out on writing something. So I've like written a piece to go behind that leads into the first song, which is The Fire on the EP, which has already been out for a couple months. Right. So yes, very excited about it coming out, and it feels like a real step
I'm just like so terrible at my job because I'm sitting there right now like the new EP and I was like yeah it came out recently. It didn't. It's like next week or the week after or something, is it? It's the 19th of August 2024. Get the date right.
It's all right.
Man, I'm a pro. Anyway, before we get back to Kate, and she tells us all about how she's been developing as a musician. If you're enjoying this show today, hey, can you do me a favour? Can you just go down, hit that like button, and leave me a comment? And if you want to help more people experience the power of God's Word through alternative music, why don't you share this video with a friend or just drop it in your social media group of choice? Next, I asked Kate to tell me more about the areas that she's explored on the new release that's really pushing her as a musician.
I self-record and produce a lot of my work, and a lot of it happens just kind of in my little room studio, that I get wonderful people to help out on mixing, but a lot of it is played by me. And I've just stepped out into areas of it, like playing instruments that I wouldn't have necessarily done before, like shaping soundscapes in a way that I haven't before. And I'd often start writing songs starting on an acoustic guitar, but this time I've like started in different places, whether it's been like with a lyric or if it's been a keys sound or like a rhythm section behind it. I've tried to, I guess, start from different places, which has made the songs, I guess, come into their own in a different way and move into areas that I wouldn't have naturally kind of gone for as a songwriter before. So I feel really proud of the way that they sound and how they've done, and I've had just brilliant people touch it up and mix it and master it who've been incredible, and it feels like a body of work that is a step forward in my sound, I guess, as an artist, which is
Oh, that's awesome. So, I mean, I totally resonate with starting to write music on an acoustic, because for me, I'm all about like the melody of like the lyric, and the lyrics I think are probably the most important thing. And it's kind of easy really on a guitar to just pick that up and just I've seen you playing, and like you are way better than I am at guitar. I just kind of hit it as hard as I can, and eventually I'll get something that's roughly about right. But I kind of I was trying to get my band to just try and do something a bit different, and we had two different things that we did, and like feel free to steal these if you want, right? So the first thing that we did was I took a song, and the song was it was Hillsong Worship, Another in the Fire, and I took that track and just wrote down the entire structure of it. So it's just like intro clean, no kind of melody or whatever, and then like drums come in, and then wrote the whole thing out, and then I put it down and forgot about it for a month, and then I brought it back out, and then I was like, right, okay, so this is the structure that I need to write, and it's a completely like the other way around of writing, which forced me to go in a completely different direction, which was pretty cool. And the other thing that we did, which was quite good, which is a real cheeky, like I think we stole this from somebody, but we got a barcode off of a bottle of washing up liquid and then used it for the tablature. So it was just like 501001.
I've never heard of that. It's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And the piece of music that my guitarist wrote with it was savage. It was so good. But yeah, the thing is going to be called Morning Fresh. So
Love that.
Yeah, sorry, that's just silly. I apologize.
I love it.
Okay, so what's apart from the EP then, what's the future? What's the future looking like for you? What are you hoping to achieve through the music? Where do you want to be going with it?
God's just opening incredible doors of relationships with people and conversations about where we could take it. My big priority in the next year or so is just to get more gigs going, to get more people hearing our music in a room, because I guess it just fine tunes me as a songwriter about what works well live, and it's just brilliant to get it out into the real world rather than just on kind of the internet. So I'm excited. I'm hoping for more shows. I'm based in Guildford. My band live in Brighton, so we're kind of splitting it between there, but trying to branch out into London and further afield. So more gigs, hopefully some more tunes. We've got lots of live material from a show that we did in February, which I'm hoping to put out soon. We got all of that filmed by very talented friends. So hoping that all of that will see the light of day. So lots of stuff on the horizon, which is really exciting. But the EP in the immediate future, and then hopefully some more shows after that.
Is there any kind of like Christian rock scene out there at all, or not? Around about, I know in the Midlands where I'm from, I mean, it's just like, it breaks my heart. There's just no Christian bands really playing out and about. It's just, I'd love for the rock scene to kind of, be a bit more kind of Christian, or get some bands coming, but there just doesn't seem to be anything around here apart from Meet Your Maker in Birmingham, who are really, really awesome. But
very cool.
Yeah, is there much going on around there? Is there anybody I need to know about or check out? Or?
I'm just on the hunt for new Christian rock acts all the time, and I think there's plenty out there. It's just a case of they're not as at the forefront at the moment. But as I said, like, huge Gable Price and Friends fan. I think what they're doing is brilliant, and I think they're really bridging gaps between, I guess, the two scenes. I've got friends in Guildford. My friend Alfie Galpin, who's just brilliant, is a Christian writer, does amazing things. I've got my friend Dan Vidolia, who does incredible guitar. And I've got my friends Cardboard Carousel, who are kind of like a folky, rocky act, yeah, who are brilliant. My friend Rich and his wife, who are just amazing. So there is stuff out there. I mean, we've got several people in Guildford, but I follow that Instagram account Kingdom Core, which is all the Christian stuff, which has got lots of Meet Your Maker on it. So would thoroughly encourage people to do some digging and to support your local Christian rock acts, because they need it. So yes.
Cool. Okay, so we're nearly out of time. So can you, if you want to just take a second and just like shout out like your socials, or how people can connect with you, or just kind of hear more of your music, can you just give that a little bit of a push?
Yeah, of course. You can find me at Kate Flanders Music on Instagram. I'm just Kate Flanders on all your streaming platforms, on Spotify, Apple Music. You can find me everywhere. I've got live videos up on the Kate Flanders YouTube channel at the moment. And any way you can find me on Instagram, you can contact me via email, or ask us about some shows, or just let us know what you think about the tunes. But all the new EP will be out on all streaming platforms and on my Instagram, and you can find me in those places.
If you want to find out more about Kate Flanders and her music, you can check out all of her socials in the description below. If you've had a nice time with us here today, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time when I'm going to be speaking to Steve Scott from The Word 66. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.